When I am introduced as social entrepreneur, I usually get two reactions. One is, oh, you do charity. No, we don't have any spare money right now. And I say, yes, well, we do some charity, but this is only a small part of it. And then they go, oh, you just wash off your sins under a nicely labeled umbrella. And I say, no, we just like to help people, and that makes us happy. It may sound a bit selfish or weird, but somehow I can understand a little bit this cynical attitude, because I have spent my more than 10 years in finance and corporate sector, and there it's pretty easy to get confused what makes you really happy. One thing I believe in is movement, and not only as a physical mobility, but it's also a way to explore the world and people and to feed your curiosity and your inspiration. And when I think about it on a personal level, my imagination goes wild immediately. I think about all those remote places I have traveled to or still want to go. My family thinks I'm crazy. I think, well, I just have some reasonable lust for adventure. This place is far less adventurous. This is my country house, just 50 kilometers away from the capital city of Riga and 8 kilometers on the country road from the local town. But it has no public transportation to it. And this makes me wonder, what if I were an elderly lady not able to walk long distances anymore? How isolated and dependent I would feel just to get to the shop, to the doctor, or even to the closest neighbor just for a little chat. Or what if I were a young teenage girl sitting in a wheelchair? How much more different and lonely I would feel not being able to run with other kids. Have you ever imagined how many people, and not somewhere in Asia or Africa, but in your closest surrounding, are that physically and emotionally isolated? These are the stories I hear behind the people who approach us, and they do so because we build tricycles for people with disabilities and for seniors. Purchasing power of these socially most vulnerable groups is the lowest. So we see our mission in providing our local people with solutions which are high quality, individually adapted, but still as affordable as possible. But it all started from our passion, and our passion is cycling. So in 2006, I met the guys who at that time started the freak bike movement in Latvia. For those who don't know what a freak bike is, it's a bike. It's built mostly out of scrap, and you can call it also a kinetic sculpture, which is driven by manpower. In reality, it's just a way to spend the free time in a more creative way, instead of just sitting and drinking beer. So it was really to show that we bike riders are on the road as well, and we should be respected. And this was a time and place where I also met my now partner in this project, Edgars Spridzāns. He's a metal designer and the mastermind behind the whole engineering and design process. The whole project itself started, I must say, even from coincidence. Once upon a time, Edgars was approached by a guy who called him and said, "I know you make funny bikes. I don't have a leg. Can you help?" This was the first bike which was built by Edgars and which was especially adapted for disabled person. We looked at the situation, and after a few more such inquiries, let's say, we said, well, it seems that this is something that could be useful for some people more out there. Then when in 2010 a new grant program for social and creative initiatives was launched, we applied with a small charity project saying, okay, let's build 2, 3 such bikes, give them to somebody, not even knowing to whom at that time. After pitching our idea on the Social Entrepreneurship Forum, we got a really valuable feedback from the local and international experts who said, come on, look at it on a greater scale. Are you aware how many people actually would need this? And this was a real change of a mindset for us, because we said, okay, let's get serious now and let's see what this need actually is. So if we take the population of Latvia, And the statistics that on average 3% of the population are people with some kind of disabilities. And participating in the research where we learned that almost half of those people are able to ride a tricycle on their own or with some assistance, we came to a number of 6,000 children and youngsters alone. Is this number big or small? I don't know. And not that I care really much, because behind each of these numbers, I see a person. I see a person who has the same wishes as we do, the same passions as we do. There's only one thing that is not given as granted: freedom of movement. And this is what for me is this tricycle. It's not only a tool for physical exercise or rehabilitation. This social, intangible impact is much bigger than that. It's the possibility to get out of the house, the possibility to spend the time with your friends and family, and really reduce the social isolation in which these people so often are trapped in. So there we were, in our new workshop with our new equipment, and yes, we know what to do, let's just get started. And now when I look back, I must say we were a little bit arrogant, because we thought, well, we know how to build bikes. You just take the bike, take the rear wheel off, add 2 wheels instead. Good job done. This is it. But we were lucky enough to start cooperation with one of the largest NGOs in Latvia, who unite families with disabled children. So we gave our first prototypes to their specialists, physiotherapists, for testing. And at first we got, I must say, a really harsh and critical opinion, but this was good and constructive criticism. For us, riding is natural. We had no idea how much attention we should pay to the ergonomics of these bikes, and I'm not talking even about stability and safety. In the end, we are responsible for these bikes which we are giving to the people. And so, as a result, the first year was really devoted to engineering process, to really reach this optimal solution which would be suitable for our future audience. But somewhere along the way, and pretty fast, the grant money was gone. So we were thinking, okay, what should we do now? How? Because we want this, our idea, to be alive. This is the time when we came across the term social entrepreneurship. The term itself is pretty young. It's some 13-something years, but it's pretty fashionable right now. But when I studied in university during the wild capitalism of the 90s, this combination of social plus business, it was never even considered, because all you cared about was profit, and the more profit for you, the better. Instead of charity, where each euro you spend, it's gone, in social entrepreneurship, this euro you spend and it's coming back, because social entrepreneurship is supposed to be profitable. The only difference is that this profit has to go back into your project, so you can provide this sustainability and longevity of your idea. And I'm actually really happy to see that now this subject is included in the educational programs of Latvian universities, and we have had a few really great collaborations, and I had my little moments of pleasure saying, look, there are other things you can do with the profit, or at least a part of it. Look at it. It's a brutal metal object. It can be used for years. So think what a great long-term investment it actually is for a relatively small monetary value, but what a great social impact it gives. But it's not like we are always looking like representatives from some happy sect, because we have our moments of doubt, and there are moments when we think, why are we doing this at all? Are we doing enough? When trying to find the arguments why we continue doing what we do, it's pretty easy to sound like somebody quoting a cheap brochure or Paulo Coelho, although he may be right sometimes. But I have found my own little selfish treasure in this whole process. And it's the people I've met along the way. Not only those who have supported us in any possible way, but the mothers and fathers who strive not only to make the life of their child easier, but also happier. Because it's so many times when we've heard back, My child is smiling because he is feeling speed for the first time in his life. Or my child is smiling because she's feeling wind on her cheeks for the first time in her life. This is the profit we are working for. Thank you.